Hello, and welcome to Now You Know's newest feature, Behind the Scenes, where we're taking a closer look into the lives of Chicago designers and other local icons. Today we're visiting with Borris Powell at his studio in Lincoln Park, and we're going to talk to him about his designs and what we can expect from him in the near future. So hi, Borris.
Hello, darling. Welcome to my studio.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
It's all my pleasure.
So just as a little intro, tell us a little bit about Borris. Who are you, and how did you start designing? When did that begin?
Well, a little bit about me. I'm a self-taught designer, and I've been here in Chicago for 13 years. Okay. I moved here not directly from, but I was born and raised in Alabama. Okay. Always had a flair for like some type of fashion, but coming in a small town out of Alabama, those feelings had to be suppressed. But not until I started traveling the world did I realize what fashion was and what a designer was, and a designer was responsible for, you know, making clothes and setting trends, or even just like, you know, advising people what to wear. And I found all that out, or I found myself, sort of say, in Chicago, and that's why I'm trying to make a home here, based out of Chicago in the fashion industry. Okay. But again, I'm self-taught.
That's awesome. So you didn't go to school for design?
I didn't. I moved here. I moved here 13 years ago to study at Columbia. Okay. And I couldn't afford it, so I found myself working odd-end jobs. I took a sewing class at a fabric store for 10 weeks.
Oh wow.
And here I am.
And here you are. That's wild.
Yes.
I would never have guessed that, honestly.
It's not textbook.
Yeah.
It's not.
But it works.
Yeah. It does. But it's not supposed to work that way. But somehow it does.
Well, you know, if you're meant to do something, you're meant to do something. Right?
I totally wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I know you have a lot of inspirations. I know Dior is one of your biggest inspirations.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, and maybe some of the other people that inspire you.
Some of the things that you know, got me to where I am is like reading about other designers, because again, when I'm not, you know, I had no education in this, so I'm having to, you know, get as much information out there that I possibly could on my own. So there was one year where I ran and I just started picking up books about, you know, designers' biographies and stuff like this. And you know, one of the ones was Christian Dior. Someone sent me this book, and then I went on Amazon and got all the ones I possibly could, and I just resonated with the story more than any other designer. Okay. I loved what he was about. I loved his lines, how classic it was, how attention to detail he paid to not only his garments but his women. He just absolutely loved the woman and loved dressing women. And, you know, through his love of fashion, I discovered more in detail my love of passion, or love for fashion. Sure. So just kind of like, it just really resonated with me. So I've always just kind of like looked up to this iconic designer. Another one is Valentino. He is my living idol, and I had a chance to meet him when I was at the Oscars this year. Oh, wow. Which was sort of amazing.
And I'm going to ask you about that too. So
it was absolutely amazing. So these are the two designers that I have, since I've known what fashion was, have always looked up to, and wanted to actually one day run in their shoes. Okay.
So I was going to ask one question, but since you brought up the Oscars, we know that recently you've really been blowing up, and you won the Oscar Make Me a Designer Challenge. What was that like to see your dress on the red carpet?
You know, I'm at an event where everyone in the world would like to be at. You know,
and those that aren't there are watching.
Are watching, absolutely. Right. I mean, the world knows this event, and the world wants to be at this event. It's the biggest platform for fashion ever. And, you know, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I told myself last year that I wanted to have my first gown on the red carpet on an actress in another 5 years. So now I'm basically 4 years early.
That's awesome.
From what I wanted, or what goal I set for myself. So then I'm put into that position, and it was a whirlwind because I'm getting ready for a fashion show. I just opened up the studio. All these other things are going on. I just quit my job like 3 days before I got the call to be invited to enter this competition. Okay. So all these things are going on, and it's just really just like a whirlwind of emotions and craziness. And so now I'm out there, I'm trying to really just take it all in. And I had to continuously ask my model, my friend that was with me, you know, the team leaders for, you know, the academy, the 2 PR people for the academy. I was like, pinch me. pitch me. This is not real. This is there's no possible way that it can be real. And they're like, it's not only real, but we need to have you over here to this holding station now. Get ready for the red carpet. Pull here, pull this. Boris, do this. Boris, stop. Here we go. And I'm like, I'm going here. I'm going there. I'm like, I don't even know my name. What am I wearing? What do I look like? And it was the best moment in my whole entire life. It's a moment that I can honestly tell you that I'll never forget.
That's just stunning. I don't know who wouldn't feel like $1 million wearing that.
And you know, the fabrication of it is it's a black satin shantung, and what I use is the reverse side, which is the matte side of this exquisite fabrication, because I thought it would give it a little bit more luxe and giving, you know, just creating a luxury feel of it instead of the traditional 97 satin.
Sure, yeah.
It's a whole new a whole new feel of this gown here.
So when you mentioned Valentino and Dior as being kind of your inspirations, you spoke a lot about like designing for the woman. So talk about like your designs and what's behind that and what you're kind of going for.
You know, I started my business on custom gowns, and the reason why is because that's what I saw. You know, I don't believe in doing things that don't come natural to myself. Not that I'm terrified or timid to expose myself, but I have always told myself I want to be the best at what I do. I'm not one of those designers that want to do everything where it comes to casual wear, men's wear, and you know, dresses or, you know, daytime. I want to find something specific, and I want to do it amazingly well so that the world knows me for that and they come to me specifically for that. And through that, I listen to my dreams. I've always dreamt of dresses in the past, and that's how I knew that that's what I was supposed to do. And that's how I still know that I was put on this earth to do this, because that's what I dream of. More than any other thing, I dream of dresses. So that's why, you know, I started to build my business on custom gowns. Now I'm seeing a lot more of other things going on. So, and I continuously will listen to myself. But you know what? I describe my style as, you know, it's very romantic. It's very classic. It's timeless, and it's free. It's easy, and it's beautiful. I design gowns to actually illuminate the inner beauty of a woman. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not trying to do this and do that or set trends. I want a lady to put on one of my pieces and she feel absolutely amazing, like a princess. Great little like cocktail dress out of this red plaid.
That was just recently in the See Me in Dior.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah, and I just, it's one of my favorite pieces as well. You know, it has an asymmetrical cowl collar here. Just, you know, it's just a really simple, beautiful shape, but it's interesting because of the color and the fabrication. It takes it to the next level. So
I think it's a very classic pattern. Yeah, and of course the red.
You gotta have a hint of red. You've seen now a few shows of mine, and I don't know if you've taken note, but every show there's a little bit more red in it.
I did notice more this time, for sure.
A lot more red, because there's something special coming in for my 10th season. My 10th season is going to be very, you know, something special, but I always have to I have to build.
Sure,
you know,
so something to look forward to.
Absolutely. And then this is another, like, you know, it's a sleeveless classic daytime lunch suit, which is just absolutely perfect and one of my favorite pieces. And, you know, ladies just absolutely love this piece as well, or this suit.
Well, I think it can go from day to night.
Yeah, easily. And it's so transitional, absolutely. And I've already gotten 2 orders for it. And it's so funny to me because even though this is my fall stuff, you know, and usually, you know, the trend of fashion is 6 months ahead, and you wait, you know, until like 3 months before that season, and then people start to order, or boutiques start to order. But this is what I'm selling. Like, people are...
Well, they're great pieces. I don't think people want to wait.
They don't want to wait. Yeah, that's what it is. Like, Boris, I don't want to wait because it's not going to be around. And I was like, oh, that's good to know. You know, it's good to feel, actually, that people are wanting it instantly. No matter, because it's not in the season yet. So those are some of my favorite pieces out of that collection. But, you know, I'm getting to the point where I absolutely love everything that I do. And I'm not being, well, I don't think I'm being biased, but I'm definitely not being like, you know, the traditional like cocky artist that says everything I do is great. Not everything I do is great. And I'm the first to tell you that if I look at something too much I'm tired of it if it's my own.
Sure.
Or I study it so much that I was like, okay, I want to change this. I want to change this. But I'm getting a bit more confident and comfortable with my artistry, that I'm starting to love what I do, and on a whole different scale. Like, I love all the pieces, because now I'm not just putting things on a runway for you to see it. I'm putting, you know, a full collection on that I absolutely am in love with. Sure. and confident with, that I think that you're going to love every single piece now. You know, I've kind of matured as a designer quite quickly, that, you know what, in the beginning I wanted to have as many pieces on the runway as possible, so I wouldn't bore you guys. It was very, you know, important to me that you saw a lot of looks and not coming to a show that's only 6 minutes long.
Right.
But now I was like, you know what, I put quality on the runway, and it's not the quality anymore. You know, it's, if I have 12 amazing pieces, that's what you'll see. Right. You know, I scrapped 6 dresses the last week of my show because they were not up to par. Okay. And in the past, I wouldn't have done that. I'd put those dresses on the runway and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, and I think you said something too really important, that you love what you do, and I think it shows in your work. And that's, I think it's important that you love it. You know, because it doesn't feel like work when you love it. So. Yeah.
That's how I can be here until like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Right?
Exactly. So anything else we should know before we say goodbye?
Well, I just stay tuned. You know, this is me, this is my life, and this is what I'll be doing for as long as I possibly can, until they's like, okay, Borris, you can't move anymore. I know, I'm just
You'll be laying in bed.
Yeah, I'll be laying in bed directing, you know, my staff and stuff like this. I don't plan to do anything else, and I love what I do. I love people. I love traveling, and that's me.